withdrawal, so it is on record. So, Mr. Mkhwanazi, I was saying, before we turn our attention to your evidence, there are some procedural issues I would like us to deal with. And for that purpose, I'd like to distribute a small bundle. And as they do so, you recall that when we postponed to today, it was because your mother had passed away. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
The death certificate of the same person.
Yes.
I see that there are a number of documents we have here that reflect your ID number. Do you confirm, I'm not going to say the full ID number, but do you confirm that it starts with 75?
Mine?
Yes.
Yes, yes, 75.
Which means you were born in 1975.
Yes.
I see from these two documents that Mrs. Petunia Rofina Mkhwanazi was born in 1965.
Yes, you are correct.
So you're making your mother 10 years older than you.
Yeah. Yes, I will explain that.
And you being her second born, so that would suggest her firstborn was born around when she was around the age of 8. You confirm that?
He was born in 1974. Yes, I confirm that.
And you confirm that is true?
Yes, I confirm that.
That you were born of this lady, the late Mrs. Petunia.
Yes.
How do you explain the fact that your mother is 10 years older than you, according to you?
When you say you were born, something else. She's my stepmother. She raised me since I was 8 years. No, so since I was 8 years or 7 years old. She's married to my father. I was staying with my father in Granny when I was young, doing grade 1 or it's something like the grade 1 or grade 2. She became the wife of my father. Then she raised me up until her death.
So why did you suggest that, as you did last time, that she bore 7 children of whom you are one?
What did I say?
You said she had 7 children and you were one of those children.
And I'm still saying that I'm her second born.
On the basis that she's your stepmother?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's turn to item 4 of that same pack.
Item
4 of the same pack. So this is a letter from the Department of Home Affairs. And I see that if you go to item 1 on that letter at page 4, it reads, according to the department's records, Mr. Mkhwanazi is recorded as the son of Mr. William Mkhwanazi and Miss Foleni Maria Mkhwanazi. Do you confirm that?
Those are my grannies.
Huh?
Those are my grannies. Grandmother and grandfather, they stayed in Katlehong, yes.
You're saying these are your grandparents?
Grandparents, yes, from father's side.
Mr. William Mkhwanazi and Miss Foleni Maria Mkhwanazi are your grandparents?
Yes, yes, yes.
Then there...
Ms. Sildo, may we take a very short adjournment?
Yes,
we'll come back when we are ready.
Okay.
And please follow us.
I shall.
Thank you, thank you.
To resume, cell phones off, please.
Commissioner, we wanted to sort out a housekeeping matter.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Mkhwanazi, before we had that very short break, you had explained that I think Mr. William Mkhwanazi and Miss Foleni Maria Mkhwanazi are your grandparents.
I don't think they are my grandparents.
Oh,
When the stepmother came to my father's home, or my father's home, she found my granny there. My grandmother there. The grandfather had already passed when I was still 1 year maybe. But I don't think they are my grandparents. That grandmother raised me up until she came in.
if they are not your grandparents, what are they?
I'm saying they are. I don't think they are. I am saying they are.
Oh, they are your
Oh, you
grandparents.
said I think. I'm saying I don't think. they
Oh, okay,
are.
I know, okay. I misunderstood. So
In
you are
fact-
saying definitively.
In fact, here you've raised family politics that I didn't notice. See,
Okay.
You've
So
raised
at least-
another thing in my. In fact, you have touched something in my heart. I'm so sore now.
Yes. I'm sorry about that. Unfortunately, it has to be done. Also, now I understand you do confirm that Miss Miss Foleni Maria Mkhwanazi and Mr. William Mkhwanazi are your grandparents. You confirm that?
Yes.
Okay. Now we were at item 4, which is that letter from the Department of Home Affairs. If you go further to page 6 of that document. That is a notice of birth. And it looks like your birth certificate, you confirm? It's got your birth date, your names. You see that?
I'm seeing it for the first time in my life. I didn't have a birth certificate.
Yeah. Home Affairs can do weird and wonderful things. Eh?
Yes, yes.
So that's your birth certificate. And if we accept that birth certificate as given to us by Home Affairs, it would appear that William Mkhwanazi is reflected as your father, and Foleni Maria Mkhwanazi is reflected as your mother. So she is the mother of the child. The same person you suggest is your grandmother.
Yes, they are.
On
They
your
are my
birth certificate
grandfather.
is reflected as your mother.
I'm not sure that can I raise this politics, can I raise this thing public, but I had to. The unfortunate part is that the story that I got from my grandmother, my father confirmed that they want me in the court of law. There was a dispute between both sides. I think when they were divorced, that's why they took over. You see, that is why maybe it's reflected. But it's for the first time. When I grew up, I didn't have this up until I didn't have birth certificate up until I had an ID. And I was accompanied by my grandmother to get that ID because she raised me up until the stepmother came in.
Can you please repeat that? I don't follow. I don't quite understand.
Oh, I'm saying when I grew up, my granny told me that
And please mention the name of the granny.
Maria.
Okay.
Yeah, at page 6, it reflects as Shawe, if I'm not mistaken. Foleni Maria Shawe. It's a family politics.
Yeah.
And that was shocking
So
me,
what you
but
are
it's
saying,
fine.
she brought you up. You're saying you grew up under her.
Yes, in fact she took over from my mother when they separated, when I was still born or I was still months or something like that. She told me that story. Yes. That is why maybe it's reflecting as if they are my mother, they are my grandparents. She's the one that took responsibility because it was me and my brother. Then there was my father. Then they took responsibility. But they went to court for us. I don't know the politics. I was still young. You said when we get the politics from one side.
Who went to court?
My grandmother.
Or
By this time, my grandfather had already passed on. He passed on 1970, I'm told 1977.
she went to court against whom?
There was another lady who claimed that she's our mother, something like that. There were politics that I didn't want to dig in. But she gave us love up until my father got married.
Thank you, Chair. So we are still at page 6. Am I understanding you correctly then that
Chair, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know why. Because some things I knew, and it's like it's opening a wound and politics of the family. And to discuss this public like this, I don't feel comfortable. May I, if you want something in writing, I will submit in writing. See, I don't want to find myself creating politics out of this. And now I've discovered something out of this again. You see, it has disturbed me. You see, but I feel uncomfortable. May I say this? I feel uncomfortable to discuss such matters in public. But if you want an affidavit confirming, relating the stories, and there are some documents you can still support this. The one that I'm talking about, the court and everything. My granny used to package these things and keep them safe somewhere. You see, but I feel uncomfortable to discuss such things.
Just a minute, Mr.
I shall.
Ms. Sillo, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I think, is in the dark as to why this is being done. Can you perhaps explain
I am happy to.
why this is being done? Also, we got these documents now.
Yes,
So I assume that he too got them now.
he gets them now.
So that adds to what I think is a surprise.
Okay, I'm happy to address that very briefly, Chair.
In his mind.
Yes.
And then I'll invite him to respond to your explanation.
Indeed, Chair. And before I get to the why, perhaps let me address the issue of why the documents are only available to him now. Items 1 and 2, being the death certificate of Mrs. Petunia Mkhwanazi, are documents he provided to us. So the item, I think, 2 and 3, item 1 is the cover page of the email when he provided them to the Commission's attorneys. The only new item is item 4. That's what we provide. And if the chair were to go to page 5 of that patch, it is signed by the Director General and is dated 13th April 2026, and that is yesterday. So this document and its annexures only became available to us yesterday afternoon. So we're all like new to these documents. So that was just to place in perspective the status of the documents. Now, as to why I'm doing this, the chair will recall that, if I may confer, Mr. Mkhwanazi was due to appear in January, and we appeared before the commissioners wherein he sought a postponement because of a medical procedure to be done to his eyes. We went past that point and he was granted his postponement to a specific date. I'm trying to recall now. Ms. Power will assist me. On the eve of that date, which was a Monday, on Friday, when we had invited Mr. Mkhwanazi for a consultation in preparation for his appearance, he informed us that he was in this state, that he does not think he'll be able to appear on Monday because his mother had passed away. And engagements were had, and to that extent, he then provided the death certificate and the copy of the ID. And together with the funeral program for a funeral that was scheduled for the following day. It is on that basis, at 2 o'clock immediately after lunch, I appeared before the commission to explain the situation because Mr. Mkhwanazi has lost a parent, and to therefore engage the commissioners about the feasibility of him appearing on Monday under the circumstances. Mr. Mkhwanazi, during consultation, was at pains to convince us the person who had passed away was his mother, his birth mother. It was not a cousin, it was not a relative, it was not a stepmother. When I made my application for a postponement, I indicated that it was a close member of the family, and therefore understand why he could potentially require this extension. His attorney seemingly was also of the opinion, of the view that this was his mother, because when he addressed the commissioners, he indicated this was his mother. After the postponement was granted, and a few days later, in the normal course of collation of documents, these documents were then prepared for filing, and that's when we realized that this person happens to be 10 years older than Mr. Mkhwanazi, and that raised the issue about whether or not Mr. Mkhwanazi lied to the commission, misled this commission in an attempt to avoid appearing before the commission. And we concluded that he potentially may have done so, but we needed to make our own investigations. If one has regard to the term mother, it could refer to almost anybody. It is upon receipt of the documents from the Home Affairs that we concluded that he knew that the lady who had passed away is not his mother. He misrepresented that fact to the commission, and he obtained his extension. It was compounded by the fact that then Home Affairs gives us his birth certificate, which actually shows who his parents are. And he continues in that vein, because today, sitting here, he says the very people identified in his birth certificate as his parents are actually his grandparents. So mine is to put to Mr. Mkhwanazi that he lied to the commission to avoid appearing before the commission. And this is the basis on which I say I draw that conclusion. That is why we are having this exercise. So I hope that provides the appropriate context, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Olo. Do you wish to respond to that, Commissioner Mkhwanazi?
Thank you, Chair. I'm still saying that she raised me, she's my mother. Yes, I was not born out of or from her, but she raised me since I was young. She took over from my grandmother who raised me. I see this birth certificate for the first time in my life. You see, that's why I had to have the grandmother to accompany me to get an ID. You see, and I'm requesting this commission to go to court with my ID and check how did my grandmother, who's the mother of my father, happen to raise us. Because the story that she told me when she was alive, I think it relates to, she was honest, it relates to this birth certificate because she took over from that mother that I don't know, not my biological mother. There was another mother in between. That's why she went to court. It's the story that I don't know, but she related that story to us. You see, then I'm appealing to this commission to go to, because you know these things. It's a court that granted a parent thing for us. You see, and you'll be able to get it. You see, and ngesintu umama ungikhulisile umama kimi, I can't say because she has passed on now and start labeling her that she's not my mother, she's the mother of the other mother, you see. And as I've said, one of the reasons that I've said I feel uncomfortable, I saw something now at the back where the letter from the
Director General.
Yes. No, not the letter. There's something that confirms the 4 kids as the leading. She's saying that it's now 4 or 5. Me and my brother were not mentioned anyway. That's why it's opening another wound now to a family and to us.
May I assure you I won't get there?
Sorry?
I would like to assure you I won't get to the issues that concern you.
We have already touched on them.
Let me just finish, if I may. I just have 2 points to make on these documents and we close the file.
But we have already touched it. That's why I've said it's shocking when I'm seeing documents for the first time. I'm seeing other documents for the first time. And I'm 50 years old now. It's an embarrassment for a man who is at this age to find out about some of the things that I didn't have.
And if I'm, what I intend to touch upon
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Chair. What I intend to touch upon with you, in part, arises from your response today, and just to look at the documents as provided by Home Affairs, and I'll invite you to comment, and I will not go any deeper into these issues to the extent that perhaps they may upset you emotionally. But this morning you indicated that Mrs. Petunia Mkhwanazi was your stepmother because she was married to your father after your mother passed away.
In fact, she raised.
And then raised you consequently. Yes. And that's why she's always considered you one of her children.
Yes.
Correct. Let's go to page 4, and my confusion arises because at item 1, your father is listed as Mr. William Mkhwanazi, who you now say is your grandfather. That is the same person that appears on your birth certificate. I accept that you have never seen your birth certificate, but this is the birth certificate as provided by Home Affairs. At paragraph 2 of that same letter, Mrs. Petunia Mkhwanazi is said to have been married to Mr. Hoho Titus Mkhwanazi. That is not your father, is it?
No, that's my father. That's my biological father.
Okay, Mr.
Babami, ongizalile.
Okay.
Ngesintu ngiyisa ngeke ngilibize igama liphelele lakhe.
So, Home Affairs has it wrong. The commission must accept that Home Affairs has it wrong.
I've explained it that I'm kindly requesting you to go to the court and check for me, and I don't want to put my brother, and check how did my grandmother win it, but I know that it was in the court of law.
Okay, no.
It's within your space. You can get that within a day or two.
I don't think I would be particularly interested to pursue that necessarily. My question really to you now is, these birth certificates and documents provided by Home Affairs are factually incorrect. And I can live with that if that is what you suggest. So these documents are wrong.
Factually, as I've said to you, that I'm requesting this commission through you, Chair, to verify. You're going to prove that I'm talking about these are my grannies, they raised me, and Sikhulisa bogogo spending nabo baba and nabo mkhulu, they take responsibility of us. I'm one of them. You see, when I couldn't defend, when I couldn't do anything, as young as 1 year, 2 years maybe, you see, they took ownership of me. That's why I'm still alive today.
I take your point.
They are my grandparents, and I'm not ashamed to say so. Not to say I'm disowning them.
No, I
And
hear
when they raised me and my brother, they raised me as their own kid. And
hear
I'm
you.
happy about that.
I hear you. My comment to you is, I'm going to make a few, and I'm going to make a few statements to you, and I'm going to invite your comment. You know that the documents from Home Affairs are genuine and they are correct. What is your comment to that?
I've said to you, it's for the first time. That's why I've said to you, you're opening a can of worms. Page 4. You said you're not going to go, but you went in, you see.
No, it was just for the names.
But may I respond, yes?
Yes, sir.
Page 4, paragraph 2. According to the departmental records, the birth surname, Ndlovu, you see, when you continue from that side, you see, it says she's not our parent. There's another page again that goes through deep. That mention it from Home Affairs too. You see, I don't know how to put it. It's the last page, commissioners. I saw it now. Page 11. When you were outside, I happened to peruse very fast all these pages to check and wanted to confirm what you are saying. And it's true. All those documents that are coming from Home Affairs, they don't put me and my brother anywhere from my father, or when my father passed on, from what my mother or my stepmother registered at Springs, I think it's Springs, Magistrate. That's why I've said it makes me to feel uncomfortable now because it raises some politics now, some challenges. But it's so unfortunate that both parents are no longer there. You can't question the siblings.
I don't. Yes, please.
Check something, sorry. Commissioner, I think what we the significance, as Ms. Silo has explained, of this uncomfortable discussion to you is to establish whether you've been truthful with the commission. So see it in that way. And the truthfulness is important because if it is established that you were not truthful the last time when you gave a reason for not appearing, then you would be in contempt of the commission, which has consequences, criminal consequences. So understand that, uncomfortable as it may be, it's a necessary discussion. It's not meant to embarrass you or in any way to cause you any discomfort, but it is a matter that is very important to the commission, that witnesses that appear before the commission are truthful and honest, because there are legal implications for it. So understand even my question in that context. You've referred, can I just understand what you're saying? There are two names at page 4. In paragraph 1, there's a Mr. William, page 4. It's that letter from Home Affairs. In paragraph 1, there's a reference to Mr. William Mkhwanazi. You see that? And then in paragraph 2, there's a reference to Titus Mkhwanazi. What do you say is the relationship between William Mkhwanazi and Titus Mkhwanazi?
Oh, William is my grandfather.
William is your grandfather?
He's the father of my father.
Okay. So, yes. So Titus is the son of
yes.
William?
He's the second-born child of William Mkhwanazi.
Okay. Now, that same paragraph 2, and I'll go back to your page 11. The same paragraph 2 tells us about a son a son born to Titus and Petunia. You see where it is. It has a name there, Siabonga. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you go to page 11 that you were referring to, this is the hospital record, it looks like.
Page 11.
Yeah, the one that you were referring to.
I thought it's Home Affairs. I can't see at the top.
You may be right. The reason I thought it's a hospital record is because it has a name of a hospital there. It says St. Mary's.
Oh, yes, Hospital St. Mary's. You're correct, I see it.
Yeah, but I can't quite tell from the dates which year it was. But I was just going to point out that you say there were 7 children
Yes, we are 7.
raised by Petunia,
Rufina and Petunia, yes. Rufina and Titus, yes.
the 7 children.
Yes.
That includes you and your brother.
Yes, my brother is the firstborn, secondborn. There's another sister. I'm discussing family issue now. Who came with my marriage, but she's my sister.
Okay.
Who came with Mom Petunia. Then,
And how many children did Petunia have, Mom Petunia have?
including my brothers and
forget,
sisters.
there's you, your brother, and your sister
Yes.
from your mother.
Yes.
Okay.
And another 4. It's 3 sisters and 1
And the
son.
the four that you're referring to,
Yes.
the 3 sisters and another brother, those are Petunia's, Mom Petunia's birth children, biological children.
Mom Petunia and Babu Mkhwanazi.
And Babu
both of them.
Mkhwanazi,
Yes,
I understand
you're
that.
correct, you're correct.
You see, the confusion then for me is the page 11 that you referred to also refers to only 1 child. At page 11, it doesn't, even if we say, we accept what you're saying, that there were 7 children and somehow only Home Affairs letter yesterday. So it seems Home Affairs does not seem, it looks like, and I may be wrong in how I'm reading the letter from Home Affairs, it records only 1 child born to Petunia Mkhwanazi and Titus Mkhwanazi. That's at page 4. Home Affairs essay yesterday. I think the letter is yesterday. And then page 11 also refers to only 1 child. So the other 4 biological children, or the other 3 biological children, don't seem to be accounted for.
You are correct, Commissioner. Even if when you look page 9, there's only 1 birth certificate
Yes.
for Siabonga,
Yes.
not for my other sisters.
Yes.
Yes, you are correct, Commissioner. I agree with you.
Commissioner, if I may, perhaps, and we only got this yesterday, so I think we are all trying to digest it. Perhaps if we have regard to page 4, item 2 of that is the, Home Affairs letter. The last sentence of paragraph 2 reads, having indicated, that Miss Petunia Mkhwanazi was married to Mr. Hoho Titus Mkhwanazi. That paragraph says this was established through the birth record of one of their children and gives the name with the identity number, then gives as the marriage records could not be located. So the document that is attached at page 11 by Home Affairs is in respect of this specific child. It doesn't suggest that it's firstly the only child or that it was intended to also cover the other children. That is the first point. And the second is, when one looks at page 11, as I said, it's in respect of that named child born in 1994, and it's the immunization health issues concerning a newborn. In the middle column, you will see there details there regarding immunizations. And then extreme right column, it's different dates that I guess would reflect the visits the mother and child paid to the clinic. So page 11 strictly relates to 1 person, which is the child. And then it's the point I wanted to make to Mr. Mkhwanazi earlier, that it cannot speak to Mr. Mkhwanazi himself or any of his siblings? Because these are medical records of a newborn who was identified and a name given.
You understand, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, what Ms. Siloy is correctly pointing out is that the letter from Home Affairs and page 11 are not in themselves evidence that there are no other children, that there was only one child. It just speaks, it's documents that just speak to one child.
Yes,
and nothing more.
Yes, Commissioner, but I'm disturbed when Home Affairs is the one that said they can't locate the marriage certificate. Because even if we can lose marriage certificates and whatever, our hope is at Home Affairs. That's why I'm saying in terms of hours, anything that has to do with courts, it's at Justice Department or at the courts. You'll find anything, you see, every document. If they say they can't locate, or maybe it's because of time that they were given, you see.
Yeah.
But I still confirm that. And again, I felt that by not attaching the program, you see, because we submitted this document with the program, you see, the program talks to all of us there. You can even track through all of us, our names and everything, so that it becomes easier for you when you want to check in the courts. Are these ones that I mentioned there, part of this family? It's going to simplify for you. I thought I'm going to see the program too, but I see it's not attached.
And that's because the one program copy you gave us was returned to you, Mr. Mkhwanazi. It was returned, the program.
No, it was not.
Then you must perhaps check with your attorney. We didn't retain it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
the program was going to simplify all of us so that when you go to Home Affairs, we'll see all of us and our history and everything.
Do you still have a copy of the program?
Yes.
Will you kindly bring it along tomorrow?
I must go to Tsaka, but I'll see how to get it.
Please.
Yes.
And if you have it electronically.
Oh, yes. I think I may get it electronically.
Okay.
Yes.
You should ask your attorney, because I think when we appeared, we had it in hand, so it might be with your attorney and his files.
No, you'll get it electronically.
Okay.
Yes, we'll get it.
So if you could bring that. My second then statement to you, as you know that the records as provided from Home Affairs are indeed correct, and that you lied to the commissioners when you sought an extension for your appearance. What's your comment?
I didn't lie. I still maintain I didn't lie. And I still maintain that some of these documents that are here, I'm seeing them for the first time. As I've said, it's an embarrassment. I'm still saying the mother that we were buried, or we're burying on that date, I forgot the date. I think it's the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. She's my mother. She raised me as a parent, you see, and she's the wife of my father, the father that gave birth to me. And I still say, Uba Mkulu William Mkhwanazi and grandmother Ufoleni, Maria Mkhwanazi. They are my grandparent, you see. And as I've said that, I think I'm repeating it for the 7th time now. You can go and verify.
And
I didn't lie. Maybe the challenge I may take, or I may admit to the commission that I was supposed to say stepmother, you see, but it doesn't sit well, you see. This English way with us doesn't suit. The mother is a mother. She raised me. You see, and I'm not apologetic about that, and I can't be apologetic about that. And there's no reason for me to lie. And there's no reason for me to say I will run away from
To be fair to you, because I see you are becoming emotional. I know some of us in our cultures, your father's wife is your mother. There's no such thing as stepmother, step this. Those are English terms. Those are Western terms.
Yes.
Some of us, where we come from, the person that raises you is your mother, full stop.
Yes.
Whether you said biological or step this or step that, you identify them as you know them,
Yes,
not as the law knows them.
Yes,
and I think that's your explanation.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo, and I do agree with Commissioner Khumalo that is not, I do agree with Commissioner Khumalo. That's how we have it in African tradition. But that is not the point I seek to make. The point I seek to make is you know the correct, truthful position, and that position is as reflected in the documents, and that therefore you lied to the commission. That is the only point I sought to make. You deny you lied. You say you are learning these facts for the first time. So then I move on. Secondly, my submissions to the commission is that you must be held in contempt for deliberately lying to the commission when you knew that the facts you were relying upon to obtain your postponement were false. That is my submission to the commission, and this is your opportunity to address the commissioners as to why you should not be held in contempt. Yes, you may, Mr. Mkhwanazi.
I still maintain that I didn't lie. You see. And the program says so, and I've explained it, and I'm still going to explain it. And the Commissioner Khumalo just summarized it for me. I didn't lie to the Commissioner. Even the day of engagement, remember when it was a consultation, I didn't raise it when we discussed, but towards the end I raised it that whilst we were discussing, I'm having this challenge of a funeral tomorrow. You see, if I wanted to hide, I was not even going to come for consultation. Remember, the consultation was on Friday. The next day it was a funeral. But I decided to respect the commission and come up until you and my attorney agreed that we are releasing you. You may go, then you'll go and address the commission. Up until that one called me and said, no, you are granted that. And I was here, honestly being here, we sat, we discussed, we consulted with you. There was no reason for me to lie or to run away. You can't run away. I'm a South African. I don't have any identity or other citizenship. Even if I delayed, the commission, when it wanted, they were going to send summons to me. Commissioner said I didn't lie. I still maintain that. She raised me. She's my mother. You see.
Well, it's interesting.
If we didn't take it the way on that day, you were supposed to raise it on that day. That no. Because remember, you even asked, you checked the ID numbers. I saw you. You were having a program. I said,
no, that's not true. Tell the truth. I never saw the ID number.
Allow me to talk, Commissioner.
No. Do not mislead.
But I still maintain that even on that day you had a program with you. That's why I've said to you, you took the program, you asked me, I said yes. You see, say when is the funeral? I mentioned the funeral.
Can I?
Thank you, commissioners.
Yeah. Can I just say, Commissioner, perhaps in fairness to you, and just for the recording, that the document at page 6, which comes from the Department of Home Affairs, is not itself a birth certificate. It's a notice of birth. And according to the dates on this document, the notice of birth was recorded on the 23rd of April, 1994. So someone went to Home Affairs, and it would seem it's for Lenny Maria, who would have gone to Home Affairs, described here as mother in relationship to child, but importantly, it is in 1994, April 2023, when this notice of birth was registered. So it's not the birth certificate itself.
You are correct, Commissioner. I remember it was before the elections. I was putting pressure on her that I want to go and vote. I don't have an ID. I think she went and collected that certificate so that we can go and get, as I've said, that she's the one who took my ID, who assisted me to get my ID. I remember it was before elections. On that year, you see, the elections were there. I wanted to go and vote.
You wanted to vote?
Yes, I wanted to vote. I'm being honest, you see. I think she was under that pressure, you see.
Thank you.
Everything here, I don't deny it, commissioners. I don't deny it.
All right.
You see, and she assists, this ID that I'm having is because of her. As I've said that whilst I was having a stepmother, she made sure that some necessary documents in my life are there. While she was still old, but she went then collected. And we went with, and I know that when we were getting that ID, there were many questions that were asked to her. It was a period of hour or hour and a half, you see, up, and she produced many documents. She had many documents with her, wrapped with the plastic. So she couldn't explain because of it, but she submitted all those documents up until I was able to get the green ID document.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And you got it before the elections?
Before the elections, and I woke up early and voted.
You were lucky.
Thank you.
23rd April and
Yes,
yeah, few days.
Yes,
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Mr. Mkhwanazi, my closing remark was that the Commissioners should hold you in contempt for having misled, and I invited you to give your comment to that, and you indicate that your response was you stand by your explanation and you should not be held in contempt, correct?
Yes.
And I'm happy to leave the matter at this point, unless there is anything further you would like us to deal with in this regard.
No, it's just that to hope to all the families, my families that are listening, that it doesn't open any can of worms. That's the procedure of the commission. You see, I know that I'm touched. Now I'm thinking about other things, but I hope all of them. Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi, for explaining it again. It's not to say it's only Siabong. You see, some will say that means we're not counted too, but she has already explained it's because they wanted to get information in the details. You see.
That would be the first. And the second is, I can assure you this file is not for public consumption. It was for purposes of this engagement only.
Are you saying the second document?
Yes.
There's another one.
No, I say that bundle of documents is not for public consumption because it's got all your personal details and so it was for purposes of this engagement only.
Hey, but we've already touched everything. Thank you. Hey,
Well,
but I'm hurt. I don't want to lie. But thank you, commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, yes, you did respond to the questions, but that may not have been structured in a manner in which it would have been. I'm saying you have responded to the questions, but your responses may not have been as structured as you would have liked them to be had you gotten advance notice that issues like these would be raised with you. In fairness to you, I'm offering you the opportunity to put together everything you want to say with regard to the issues that were raised. Put it together in an affidavit, but that is if you wish to do that. So it's up to you whether you take me up on that offer or you don't.
It is important to do that, Commissioner, you see, so that other family members, I will be open to them about that affidavit. Because I know that, we've got our own small Anyana politics, you see.
Yes.
As I've said, this is going to open and you see, but I'm going to do that to respond to the Commission and touch on everything that
Are you in a position to indicate by when you will lodge that affidavit?
I will appeal to the Commission after the testimonies of this week, then I will try.
Maybe 2 days after your testimony has been concluded.
Please, Commissioner.
All right.
Because I must still get those documents that my granny's bundle. You see, go to granny's house, but may I get these documents?
Yes.
Because it's going to assist the Commissioner.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I must apologize, and I hope this is on my behalf and on behalf of my colleagues that you were taken by surprise on this. Of course, Advocate Sililo has explained that they too only got the document or the documents from Home Affairs only yesterday. But still, you were taken by surprise and on something quite sensitive to you. relating to intimate issues about your family, I must apologize on behalf of the Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Then if we could just close that little file, we are done with it, and get back to the issues of the day, which basically involve your testimony to the Commission, Commissioner Mkhwanazi.
Which files must we have closed by, Mr.
I'm going to call them, but I see
all right.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi is still making a note. I think it's a note of what the Chair advised him on, so perhaps let me wait for him to finish. Yeah, it's noted. Okay. So, Chair, for the moment, I think it's enough to have one file, but I must introduce it into record before we can turn to it. Now, turning to you, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, to confirm that since your last appearance, you have prepared and submitted a supplementary statement to your original statement. Is that correct?
Okay. Can I check first?
Yes, absolutely.
May I?
Now, can you at least establish the fact that you did so? You submitted a statement, a supplementary statement. Is that correct? Then we will try and identify which one.
I'm not ignoring you. Last time I was given a short notice to confirm. I couldn't even read the statement.
No. Right now, I'm just
want to confirm each and every paragraph.
No, I just want to confirm a simple fact. Did you submit a supplementary statement?
Oh, yes.
That's for the moment,
yes.
Okay. Yes. Then I was going to draw your attention to the file that is now being handed to you. Chair and Commissioners, it should be marked Julius Mkhwanazi Supplementary Bundle. That is the document that has been put before you, correct? Now, let's then turn to this document. It's a 6-page document for the moment, and attached to that document are 5 annexures. Is that what you have in your file?
Are you saying the whole document is 5 annexures?
No, the actual statement is a 6-page document.
Yes.
And attached to that supplementary statement are 5 annexures. I just want to confirm that that is correct.
Yes, that is correct.
That's correct. Now, let's go to the statement then. It is undated. Would you like us to attach a date to it? Or let me just say, is this the statement, that supplementary statement that you filed? First things first. And now you can satisfy yourself that that is the statement you filed. You are welcome to page through it.
You won't include the attachment on the attachment will be separate.
No, it's a statement read with the attachments, because as I read the statement, it references the 5 annexures. So I just want you to confirm that, look at the statement and confirm whether this is the supplementary statement you say you filed.
It ends at paragraph 12, Commissioner, page 6.
Yes.
I do not have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. That's right.
So you confirm that is the statement?
Yes.
I see at page 6, in fact at page 1, it just says supplementary statement to Madlanga Commission. The last page, page 6, is undated and it's unsigned. Is that correct?
Are you saying the page 1?
Page
or
one
the whole statement?
of the whole statement just has a heading supplementary statement to the Madanga Commission.
Yes, it's unsigned.
And the last page is unsigned and is undated, doesn't have a name. Page 6.
You are correct.
So on its face, it doesn't tell us that this is your supplementary statement. Am I correct?
Yes, but I place it on record that it is my statement.
And that is the part that I want us to turn to, right? So for the record, we confirm this is your supplementary statement. Secondly, are you happy to sign this statement as yours? Well, we can attend to that during the tea break.
Please, I wanted to say that.
Yes.
Because last time I signed it here, not on a tea break, you see.
Then
and I've
we
identified
will
some
do
things,
that
yes,
for
please.
the record. And what date would do we attach today's date? What date would you prefer be attached to the statement?
Because he'll be signing today, I
It will
think
be
we should
today. Okay.
use
Then we
today's
will
date.
date it
And,
the 14th of April.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
So now that we're
And besides just a signature, please write your name in full and then sign above the full name.
On the last page.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
You want, oh no, it's fine, Commissioner. If you say I'm not initially, but it's the last page. Thank you,
You
Commissioner.
may actually do that, initial each page. At least it's 6 pages only, so yeah.
We'll attend to that during the tea break, Mr. Mkhwanazi.
You may do that on only one document, not on all copies.
Absolutely,
And then
absolutely.
you
The
just-
official one and rerun copies of the
Yes,
sign.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we shall do so. So, Mr. Mkhwanazi, and then you did cast your eye on the annexures. You confirmed these are the annexures you intend to introduce to your testimony, correct?
May I ask something? Yes, on this one is correct. As I've said before that, last time I signed, and I feel that justice was not done on me, commissioners. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. You see, I submitted, then in terms of looking, in terms of the wording, each and every, I didn't have that opportunity. You see, at least now we are giving an opportunity to sit on a tea break. It was presented, I had to say yes, confirm it is. Then we made an amended, before supplementary. Me and the attorney made an amended statement, is it? Because I wanted to raise that with the commission. If the commissioner say no, it's out, it's out. But we have also submitted it too.
May I just raise this? I'm looking at page 6, and there's a different color font. I don't know whether that's deliberately a different color font or whether it's tracked changes. I can't tell. Maybe it's a different color font, because if it was tracked changes, there would be those vertical lines on the left margin. So why a different color font?
Commissioner, I'm not.
Some words, of course, not the entire page.
Yes.
Some words, phrases, etc.
Yes, I'm not the computer fund. I tapped it by myself.
Yes.
You see. Then I will have to check when I'm reading it.
Is your version also like mine? For example, right at the top with alleged registration and make, that's an orangish color font, and then open brackets, sexual harassment, annexure, also same color font, and a few other examples. So here, there, and there.
You are correct.
Yeah. If you say you typed it yourself, are you able to explain why you would have moved to orange?
I think when I was correcting some, that's why I'm saying during the tea break I will check that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because I had to type and recheck, and because I had to make sure that I meet the due date.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if I understood you correctly. When we finalized the issue of signing this statement, which we said we shall do during the tea break, you sounded like you're raising a complaint, and then you reference yet another statement. Would you like to clarify what? Because we want to make sure what it is we have on record and what is not on record. I will not try and summarize what you said, lest I misunderstood you. So I'm giving you an opportunity to please.
I couldn't hear that.
I say I want to give you an opportunity to cover the issues you raised after we We agreed that we shall be signing this statement during the tea break, and then you made statements that to me sounded like a complaint, and you referenced yet a third statement. So for purposes of clarity, I would like you to go over that again.
Before you explain, Commissioner, throughout the morning I've been noticing that you are straining your ears, leaning forward, as if you have difficulty hearing what's being said. And I did not notice that when you were here previously. I don't know. Are there problems with the sound, or is there something with you today, Commissioner?
I think I'm aging, Commissioner. I'm losing everything. Even the sight I can't, but at least when I'm wearing I can read. Because the most important thing is to read.
I'll ask our technical people to just check the sound and try to establish what the issue is over the tea break, of course.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so
you,
that you don't have to strain yourself.
Okay.
I would like for you to hear us properly.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Now, can you give the explanation that Ms. Sillo asked for? I hope you still remember what.
Thank you, Chair.
The matter raised before the statement.
No.
No.
I just didn't want any concerns you may have to go unaddressed. So you had said something and placed them on record, but I wasn't sure exactly what your complaint is, and I didn't want to summarize lest I got it wrong. So I'm giving you an opportunity to please state succinctly what your issue is with statement previously provided. And as I said, you reference yet a third statement, and if you could just explain what that is.
No, we submitted, remember during the time of consultation, my then attorney submitted and amended, you see, because I felt that some of the words that were used, they were not representing me correctly. And I didn't have enough time that time to read each and every sentence, each and every thing. You see, I wanted to know, do we receive it and are we accepting it, or we are saying we took an oath on the first one, we stick to the first one. It's not a complaint per se, but it's a content that I'm raising. And again, are we sticking to this one and the first one? That one you must forget. If the commission says so, it's fine with me, but I wanted to raise that. It is not a complaint, but I was raising that. So I'm not a legal fundi. I'm representing myself today. I must be clear so that I don't say the commission is unfair to me.
No, fair enough. Perhaps if I can address that. You would have next to you what we call the witness statement and annexure bundles that you submitted during your first appearance. Yes. If we could just assist Mr. Mkhwanazi to find those. And that is the statement and annexures we worked off where during your first appearance, first and last appearance.
Ms. Sillo, maybe while they are still assisting.
Yes, Commissioner.
I think what Commissioner Mkhwanazi is referring to is a corrected version of his original statement. We have a file here with a statement that is 39 pages long. And because this statement is clean, I know that it's not the one we worked off previously, because that one would have had my handwritten notes. So what he wants to know is whether the commission accepts this statement.
I aim to get specifically to that, and in order to do so, I must take it a step at a time. Otherwise, we are all going to lose track as to what we mean when we reference Commissioner Mkhwanazi's statement. So I have to take it from the beginning, which is on his first appearance. So those are the files that we had and were submitted into record, being your statement and your annexures. And they would go to, I think, annexure JD 15. Do you confirm that, Mr. Mkhwanazi?
I was noting what you're saying.
I'm back to your first appearance. You had a statement with annexures. That is your statement that is now on record, correct? Together with its 15 annexures.
Are you saying this is one of the bundles?
I'm saying when you first appeared, you had a statement and 2 files of annexures.
Yes.
Yes. Now, that statement has got 15 annexures marked JD1 to JD15. Is that correct?
You are correct.
Okay. So when you last appeared in December of 2025, that is the document and its annexures that we were working from. Correct?
Yes.
There was a discussion during the course of your testimony about the possibility of you supplementing your statement, and after your appearance you were reminded of a right to supplement, and we said whether on invitation by the Commission or not, if you want to supplement, you're at liberty to. You recall that conversation with you?
Yes.
Okay. And you then sought to supplement, and you filed with the Commission's attorneys a statement you called an amended statement, which you said was a supplementary, with 61 annexures. Do you remember that?
No, I didn't say it's a supplementary.
You say it's an amended?
Yes.
Yes. So you sought to amend the statement that we had worked off in December already. Correct? It has to be correct.
Are you saying
you wanted to change the statement that we had worked off in December, the one with 15 annexures.
I amended it, yes.
You amended it.
Yes.
And now in that amended, the amended Julius Mkhwanazi statement now had 61 annexures. The file is being handed over to you. That's what
Yes. I remember it because out of the engagement that we had on the days of
Yes.
consultation, that's what we had, yes.
And in our engagements with you and your attorney and during the consultation, we realized that you numbered the annexures JD1 to JD61, but effectively the bulk of them were a rearrangement and renumbering of annexures that are already on record as JD1 to JD15. And we said, you can't do that, it's going to cause confusion. Okay? Because there is a risk that one document may end up with 2 annexure numbers. Either JD3 from the December 25 session, and by April 2026, JD3 now is also JD59. And we can't have that situation because it makes it impossible to read the material. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
And we suggested that to the extent that there are new annexures that you want to add, please prepare a supplementary statement, a separate supplementary statement, raising the issues you want to raise and attaching the new annexures.
Yes, but my concern is not about only the attachment or annexures. Or let me say I use annexures, use attachment. It's about the wording too. You see, may I raise it, Commissioner?
Yeah.
I felt that when the other witnesses were raising issues, you see, it was not in their statement, I read their statements. It was not alleged. It was said, he has done that. But on mine, when it came from you, as the commission, or when the person was typing or correcting it, it's now everything that I'm saying is allegedly, even though we've got case numbers, even though in some of the things we've got evidence, but it is twisted as alleged. That's my real concern. That's why I've said the wedding. I didn't talk about the attachment, you see. That I
What
felt
was
the
the-
wedding doesn't represent me. It represents the commission, not me. That means I'm saying, yes, I was given a few seconds or few minutes, commissioners, I was not even, this time you referred to me, say, on a break time, it's 6 pages, you see. But that time it was a thick document.
The allege that you seem to be complaining about, was it in your original statement? Or?
Yes, commissioners. Yes, it's not a complaint per se, commissioners. I'm saying, can you look at that, you see, so that I'll be happy to
It's either a complaint or a concern. I'm not even sure myself what the difference is.
Yes.
But surely it must be somewhere there.
Commissioner.
Yes, Mr. Ndo. I know, I just wanted to get an
I
idea of
understand that.
where the allege that the commissioner is referred
Indeed.
to is said to have been. Where exactly was it?
Yes, and I think I was grappling with the actual concern. That's what I'm trying to wrap my mind around, but that's a mental exercise I'll undertake on my own. At some point I'll understand. But thank you for that, Commissioner Kumala.
Silo, can I ask a question? Is there any difference in substance between what Commissioner Mkhwanazi wants us to accept as the amended/revised statement and the original statement? In substance, so the words he says, yes, that's what I wanted to say, but I prefer to use a different word and not that one. But the substance of what we are dealing with, is it different? Is he saying something different to what was in the original statement? Because my view is if he doesn't, then we should consider this as part of his evidence, unless you say he's changing his evidence, therefore we should not accept it.
No, Chair, Commissioner Kumalo. The issue we took with Mr. Mkhwanazi is the duplication of annexures.
Let's ignore the annexures for
All
now.
right.
Just the
Now,
39-page statement. Ignore the annex. In other words, what I propose to do is to read the original statement together with this one, so that where I refer to annexures, I will have the original statement in front of me so that I know which annexure applies to which paragraph.
I think, if memory serves me well, the only issue of substance was an introduction of about a 4-page issue. I'm trying to identify here, which I take it is now addressed in the latest supplementary. Otherwise, there is not much difference in substance.
So if we were in court, I would ask you if you are prejudiced, if we accept this as part of his evidence. So we read both the original and the revised together. To the extent that we need to look at an annexure, we'll obviously look at the original, because the original is what tells us where each annexure is. We don't want to look at the supplementary for that purpose, because it will cause the very confusion that you say will be caused.
The difficulty, Commissioner, is that you won't know which annexure. When Mr. Mkhwanazi prepared the annexures, a single annexure could potentially run into about 20 pages, and it's a multiplicity of documents. And now he wants to split up the documents and give them a different annexure number.
That's what I say we don't want to do. So
yes.
for the purposes of looking at the annexures, I would look at, say, paragraph 29 of the revised statement, and I would try to locate that paragraph in the original statement. And when I find it, I will read it with the annexure that was originally part of the original statement. That way, I'm not looking at the same annexure twice. And it avoids the very difficulty that you say will arise if I were to look at annexures as if I'm reading them together with the revised statement for the first time.
I perhaps understand, except that it will only make sense for ourselves here as we work through the documents and the reader of the transcript in due course, if you take that statement as a narrative. So to follow the narrative that he wants, and you ignore every reference to an annexure. Because the moment you go into the annexure, then you are going to run into difficulties. Because what is now annexure JD 13, in that amended statement, you have a JD 13 already that in the original, that doesn't speak to the point being made. So we had suggested that you can do the same. Take out references to annexure numbers and put page numbers of the annexure file itself. So if it is part of JD 13 and it is from particular document you want is 600 to 620, just say pages 600 to 620, then we can locate. That was the discussion, the basis on which we parted. Now, before I fully respond to your question and your suggestion, Commissioner Khumalo, he then filed, and that is the basis on which we parted last time. Then he files this document that is before us that we now call a supplementary statement, the one that we say he's going to sign during the tea break. So now we have three. We have the original December statement. We have this one that the amended statement as he has termed it, and then we have this supplementary today. I'm in your hands how we navigate them, but our previous attempt to incorporate that amended statement into what is quote unquote his testimony, with the annexures as he referenced them, it gave us a headache, but perhaps we are slow thinking. So if the commissioners want to accept that statement, we can accept it as an amended statement, but I would urge you not to follow the annexures, because this supplementary statement that we are signing now at T has reverted to the numbering of the first. That is why he starts with JD 16, Roman 1. The last one was JD 15. So where all that lends us, I don't know. But I'm in your hands.
I think you and I are on the same page.
Okay.
Because my proposal is that we don't discard the original statement, because to locate the annexures, we need the original statement, because our transcript will reflect annexure pages and the evidence relating to those annexures based on the original. Now, there would be no transcript that deals with annexures as they appear in the amended or revised. And there would be no evidence on the revised annexures. All he's asking for, as I understand, is that this 39-page statement, because it corrects the wording, and that's all it does. That's why my first question was, in substance, does it change anything? So if we look at paragraph 28, for example, 29, which says the email trail attached is JD so-and-so, I would look for that paragraph in the original statement, and I would read it together. And for the purposes of locating the annexure, I would look at the original statement, because otherwise my transcript won't make sense. And that's the only way really around it. We take the statement as is without the annexures. And then for the purposes of locating annexures, we still use the original statement.
And that is part of the challenge, Commissioner Khumalo, because now the phrase you just read, the emails is JD whatever. If you go to the original statement, you won't find that statement. So you will not be able to locate that annexure. That is part of the challenge. Perhaps
Commissioners,
via media might
Just a minute, you'll get an opportunity.
We accept the amended statement. As I say, substantively, it's not much different from the original. It does have addition on a specific topic, which I said he is quite entitled to either file a separate statement on, or testify to in oral testimony, but whichever. But then, the annexures to that amended statement don't make it into the record, because that's where the problem arises. The annexure file and annexure references are for reference purposes only. But when we talk of Mr. Mkhwanazi's annexures, we are talking about 18 annexures, not 61 as the amended statement intends to. He will indicate whether if we approach it that way, he then loses
or the opportunity to place before the commission some or other annexes. That's the best I can come up with, commissioners, and as a solution.
Yes, you wanted. Thank you, Ms. Sillo.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, you wanted to say something.
Commissioners, I don't want to feel discriminated or prejudiced. You see, why I'm saying this, on the last testimonies, on the second day, the commissioner, the chair, made the comments, and I said, but chair, there's a document talk to that. And the chair asked in this commission, which document is that? You see, that's when the evidence leader came in and said, Commissioner Mkhwanazi's documents are still being sorted. It was the second day, and I felt that I'm being prejudiced because I've attached, I may not articulate in terms of your legal language and everything, but I feel that I've got a defense because I've got documents that talks to that, and I feel that all those documents must be. Because to be honest, I agree with...
Before you go on, just a quick question. The documents that you say you have, in which I understand are documents attached to the amended statement, do those documents differ from the documents that we already have and the additional ones that you have, or rather that you've attached to the 6-page statement? Are there any additional documents? Because my understanding of what Mr. Lo is saying is that the documents are not different, but that you've split up some. The result or the upshot of which is that you have more attachments than we have in the original documents and the additional documents to your 6-page statement, but otherwise, additional numbering rather, but the documents are the same, as I understand, Ms. Sillo. So that resulting, as I say, from you having split up some of the annexures. Do you accept that that is so?
I accept, but if the chair may recall that when you are already here, you can't confirm documents. You see, you must answer, and it will take the whole day to sit in. But we submitted all our documents. If I'm assured that all the documents are there, and as Commissioner Kumalo said that, if sometimes you feel that you need to revenge check, that is talking to what I'm saying, I'll be here.
I just wanted to be sure of the factual issue. Are the documents the same? But what explains your 60 or 61?
61, Chair.
What explains your 61 is the fact that you've split up some of the attachments or annexures.
No, I take that.
I understood you to be saying that is indeed the position.
Oh, yes, I take that, Commissioner.
All right, thank you. I came in, you were still explaining. I just wanted to understand the attachments. Please continue if you've not...
No, you have just summarized it. You have just summarized it. I don't want to delay the commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Sillo, can I?
Yes, Commissioner.
I'm looking at the two statements, and the 39-page and the original statement. So it's the revised amended statement and the original statement.
Yes.
And looking randomly at a paragraph, and in this case I'm looking at paragraphs 29 of the original statement and of the amended statement. They're not a copy of each other. So there's additional information in the 39-page,
yes,
which wasn't there in the original statement. It seems to me, and subject to what you think and the chair's direction, that you may have to navigate the amendments that have been made so that they go on record. To the extent that an amendment is not reflected in the original statement. So if you look at that 29, the original one didn't have names. It had Medicare 24, Cat VIP Security Company.
Yes.
Those are no longer appearing in the new 29, but there are actually names of people in that 29. It's just a random example.
Indeed.
And it may be that in presenting the evidence, you then need to touch on these new changes or new information that is now being placed before us by way of a revised statement.
And thank you, Commissioner. I agree with you. And to Commissioner Khumalo's question, I said substantively there is not significant change, except for a particular topic that I think he introduced in the amended statement, which we don't have a difficulty with its introduction. So, as I say, we can use the amended statement as a narrative. But when we speak of his formal statement, it has to be the first statement, but we will touch on the aspects that he raises in the second. Our second alternative would be, for record purposes, to take the amended statement but delete references to annexures. Then we read both, together. In fact, 3 now.
Can you, instead of deleting, because it's his statement, can you not cross-refer back to, so for example, where he says JD4, if JD4 in the amended statement, or in the revised statement, if JD4 is a different document or annexure or the number in the original statement, you then just give it a page number in the original. It's a lot of work that will require.
Not only is it a lot of work and painful work, it is that then would require the evidence leaders to determine what constitutes the annexure, and I have a difficulty with that. The annexures are attended by the witness, and if he wants to put a particular document or certain parts of a document, it's up to the witness to do so. So if we sit as evidence leaders and try and determine what from annexure JD4 is what he wants to attach at this juncture, then I think we'd be skating on very thin ice. But before we definitively answer this, if I may ask Commissioner to turn to what we call the supplementary statement, the one we're dealing with before we. And I want to refer to an example of how we had suggested the problem be resolved. And in that statement, he starts off so, Mr. Mkhwanazi, that is. So if you look at paragraph 1, paragraph 1 speaks to EMPD promotions. He wants to specifically address that issue. And part of the documentation he requires in support of submissions he makes are to be found in JD12. But JD12 is a bundle of documents. So the specificity he provides at the last sentence of that paragraph, JD12 pages, you see he lists the numbers. That is how we had suggested. He can use the amended statement, but rather do this. Then we retain the annexure numbering. So he seems to have done this once in this statement, and then he abandoned it. So personally, I would prefer that he makes his own election as to which documents from JD12 support the point he makes. As I say, it would be skating on very thin ice once we make that determination for him.
Yeah.
Because then he may very well say that we are withholding certain documents.
No, maybe let me explain what I was suggesting.
Yes, Commissioner.
It's not what you think.
Oh.
What I was suggesting was where his revised statement says JD4.
Yes.
Right? If that JD4 in the revised statement is a document that was already annexed to the original statement.
Yes.
And it was JD4 or JD12. We make that kind of cross-reference as he's testifying. Not necessarily that you go and sit down with him, but when he gets to that paragraph, and if you're going, say, for example, to refer him to paragraph 30 as revised, and he's got JD4 there, you then say, or he says, JD4 is in fact JD so-and-so in the original statement. That's the idea I had in mind. Not that you sit and make those choices.
Okay.
It's not your statement. You don't get to decide what goes into it.
We could do so, except I don't know if he'll be in a position to zoom in as he testifies with that accuracy. If, for instance, it's part of JD4, but now it's what in the amended statement he calls JD14, it would be for us to assume that JD14 is to be found, is part of JD4 and find the correct pages. Now, sitting with Ms. Poe here probably is an exercise we can make. I don't think he can, because he would have to have both the annexures open before him and then and make that exercise. Chair, as I see it's gone past tea, perhaps a cup of coffee might help clear the mind as to know how to overcome this quagmire.
Thank you, Mr. Law. I had been thinking that for purposes of you either leading or probing, it may be practically difficult for you to be able to engage in an exercise that goes into the amended statement at this stage.
Yes.
So I was thinking whether we should not start along the lines of whatever it is you had planned to do.
Yes.
Which I assume will focus on the 6-pager and then possibly whatever probing, but to try to accommodate what my colleagues have said, which is we cannot ignore the statement. It's before us now, the amended.
Yes.
It's before us now. And because you said in terms of substance, there's not much difference.
No, we don't have any difficulty with it.
In terms of substance.
Indeed.
So between now and whatever point, you may then look into, or rather look at the amended statement and look at what points you then want to cover in accordance with what Commissioner Baloyi suggested. Cover with the witness. And if you've taken time to do that, identify which parts you would specifically want to cover, you will have been able to identify the original annexure numbers.
Yeah.
So that when we do the exercise, we say you've called this annexure this, but in the original documents it is that annexure. Let's just leave it at that. Take a cup of coffee, and maybe when we come back, we'll.
Just to say, my probing
Yes.
worked off the original statement, did precisely that exercise. Where we part company is the document I refer to.
Yes.
Does it have a separate JD number?
Yeah.
That's the only issue.
Yeah.
But that we will cover effectively everything that is
Yes.
also in his amended statement. Yes, that is open. That will happen. Yes.
To cover the point raised by Commissioner Baloyi.
I'm talking to Ms. Poe here to see if she can inherit this exercise.
She must do the cross-referencing and know
as part of the solution.
And know which is which. Yeah.
But previous attempts collapsed, but we'll give it another shot. Yes.
Yeah, and Commissioner Khumalo has said that when he reads, he will be able to identify which is which.
Oh, and
it's a pity that he's not an evidence leader and therefore cannot.
Well, we shall call upon his help, Chair, definitely. No, okay, Chair.
Let's adjourn and maybe resume at 11:45 or what? 11:45.
11:45. Thank you, Chair.
Chief,